Welcome back to Dark Files, where we explore the most shocking, chilling, and unsolved true crime stories. Tonight's case is one that is not only terrifying, but also bizarre, a tale of deception, manipulation, and unimaginable horror. This is the story of Rodney Alcala, a man who, for years, was able to hide behind a charming smile and an unsuspecting personality, all while carrying out one of the most horrifying murder sprees in American history. Rodney Alcala's case is one of the most twisted stories of deception, and his crimes are shocking to this day. How did this man manage to evade authorities for so long? And what made him one of the most infamous serial killers to ever walk the earth? Buckle up, because this is a journey into the darkness you won't soon forget. Rodney Alcala was born on August 23, 1943, in San Antonio, Texas, to a family that would unknowingly raise one of America's most notorious serial killers. His early years, however, were far from the typical childhood one might expect. In fact, his upbringing was plagued with violence and trauma that many experts believe helped shape his disturbing future. Rodney's father, an emotionally distant man, abandoned the family when Rodney was just a child, leaving him and his two siblings in the care of his mentally unstable mother. By the time he was in his teens, Alcala was already showing signs of deep psychological distress. At the age of 17, Rodney enlisted in the U.S. Army, but his time there was brief. He struggled to adjust, and his erratic behavior led to a diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder, which is often linked to a lack of empathy and disregard for social norms. But the worst was yet to come. The first crime. In 1968, Rodney Alcala's path took a dark turn. He committed his first known crime, the rape and attempted murder of a young girl, Taylor Shapiro, just 8 years old. She was found brutally attacked and left for dead, but miraculously, she survived the assault. After the attack, Rodney fled the scene, but not before he left behind a key piece of evidence, a distinctive handprint. Authorities were quick to investigate the case and began searching for the men responsible. Little did they know, this would only be the beginning of his reign of terror. Rodney was arrested, but due to a series of legal technicalities, he was eventually released on bail. It was a mistake that would cost many innocent lives. In 1978, something truly bizarre happened. Rodney Alcala appeared on the popular TV show The Dating Game, a show where single contestants would try to win a date with one of 3 eligible bachelors. Despite being a convicted sex offender, Alcala managed to charm the audience, and one of the contestants, Cheryl Bradshaw, chose him to be her date. At first glance, Rodney seemed like the perfect candidate, good-looking, confident, and charismatic. He won the show, but there was a chilling twist. Cheryl Bradshaw later described her interaction with Rodney as unsettling. Despite his appearance of charm, she felt an overwhelming sense of unease. She decided not to go on the date, and that was one of the few times that Rodney's charm didn't work in his favor. But even while on TV, Rodney was already hiding the darkest part of himself, a killer, with dozens of victims still to be claimed. Throughout the 1970s and 1980 seconds, Rodney Alcala went on a terrifying spree of murder and rape. His victims ranged from young girls to teenagers and even adults, but they all shared one common thread: they were vulnerable, and Rodney knew how to manipulate them. Rodney would often lure his victims with promises of modeling jobs, or by offering them a ride. His charm and smooth talk convinced many women to trust him, but once they were in his grip, he would subject them to horrific violence. It is believed that Rodney may have murdered as many as 7 to 10 people, although some estimates place the number even higher. His victims included a 15-year-old girl whose body was discovered in 1980. She had been brutally raped and strangled, a hallmark of Alcala's method. Jill Barkham, a 19-year-old woman whose body was found in the Hollywood Hills in 1977. Cynthia and her sister, 2 young girls who were believed to have been abducted and murdered by Rodney. For years, Rodney's killing spree went unnoticed as he traveled across the United States, constantly changing his identity and staying one step ahead of the law. However, what truly makes Rodney Alcala's case horrifying is the fact that he photographed many of his victims, keeping them as trophies. Hundreds of photographs, many of which have never been identified, were found in his possession after his arrest. In 1979, Rodney Alcala was arrested again, this time for the murder of a 12-year-old girl, Robin Samso. Robin had been abducted while riding her bike in El Segundo, California. Her body was found a few weeks later, and her murder led the police to connect the dots between Rodney and several other cold cases. Rodney was finally charged with multiple murders, but the case was far from straightforward. In 1980, he was convicted of Robin Samso's murder, but the case against him was still far from complete. Rodney's trial was a whirlwind, but in 1986, a stunning DNA breakthrough helped confirm what authorities had long suspected. Rodney Alcala was responsible for a much larger string of murders. The police found evidence linking him to several unsolved murders, and they began to unravel a web of horror that spanned decades. Rodney Alcala's trial was an emotional roller coaster. His defense team argued that he was innocent, but the mounting evidence, including DNA samples, photographs of his victims, and eyewitness testimony, painted a damning picture. Rodney's manipulative nature and his ability to charm people played a significant role in his ability to evade the authorities for so long. In 2010, after years of appeals and legal battles, Rodney Alcala was convicted of the murders of 5 women and was sentenced to death. However, it's believed that he may have killed many more than what he was convicted for, and the full extent of his crimes is still unknown. Rodney Alcala's case is one that will never be forgotten. His disturbing charm and his ability to manipulate the people around him make him one of the most terrifying serial killers in modern history. His case raises the chilling question: how many others like him are out there? Rodney's legacy isn't just one of murder. It's a reminder of the dark side of human nature, the evil that can lurk behind a seemingly innocent face, and how often the most dangerous criminals remain hidden in plain sight. Rodney Alcala, now serving his time on death row, has become one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. His story serves as a warning that sometimes the most charming people can harbor the darkest secrets. The question remains: how many lives did he take? How many victims are still out there, their families never knowing the true identity of the monster responsible for their deaths? For now, we may never know the full extent of his crimes. But one thing is for sure: Rodney Alcala will forever remain a dark figure in the criminal history of the United States. If you want to learn more about disturbing true crime stories, be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out our other deep dives into the world of dark mysteries. Thank you for watching this episode of Dark Files. If you're hungry for more chilling true crime stories, click on the next video. You won't want to miss it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.